The thing is, like, we're getting the rumors from the internet, and the internet thinks that the Taliban took out that bridge in Baltimore. So it's like, who fucking knows? Who knows what's real?
That's what Diddy's lawyers, I think, said. It was like, these are just trumped up charges. Not trumped up, I don't think they said that, but like bullshit charges.
Dude, when Homeland Security invades your house,
you got problems.
With dudes with fucking guns and body armor.
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff. They were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there, you know.
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's fun. Of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these fucking conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers upon layers.
It's fun to talk about.
It is fun to talk about. It's hard to know what's true. But why people genuinely love it when someone like Diddy gets caught, though. The glee that people have is weird.
Why?
Because he's too successful. Also, it's like there was always so much East Coast, West Coast shit that's still like in the zeitgeist, you know, like with Biggie and Tupac, and they were all hating at each other, and they both got killed, and there was a lot going on. And then there's people that thought that Puffy was involved and Suge Knight was involved.
Everybody hung with Diddy. That's the other tricky thing. Like, Diddy hung out with everybody. And I've spoken to a bunch of people who are like, yo, great dude, like always there for you, never asked for a single thing.
Till 1 a.m.
And then freak off.
Everybody says, get out of the house.
Yeah.
It's like the gremlins start eating after midnight. Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw I go upstairs and these dudes are fucking like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are fucking, and it's like,
and pros. Like, apparently he was getting male gigolos to fuck girls.
Girls.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional dicks to have sex with the girls, and I think he would watch, allegedly. That's what was alleged, I think. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And that's the other thing, like, I wonder, like, is that just a power thing?
It's a Caligula thing.
What does that mean?
Caligula, like the emperor. Did you ever see that movie, Caligula?
No.
It's about just Roman empires being completely out of control. Caligula is like almost like porn, and it was a movie made, I want to say in the 70s. It's a crazy movie. But it's just detailing extreme excess where you can never fill the hole.
But what is the hole you need to fill? Like, I'm trying to find, like, what's the
just
catalyst?
Chaos. What year was this? 79. Yeah. That's Malcolm McDowell, right? Yeah. Yeah, the dude from Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yeah.
It's a crazy movie, man. But it's still mild in comparison to what Absolute have. Absolute power corrupts. Caligula.
Okay, so then there's the question. It's like, can you take a completely normal person, give them power, and then they become that? Or does it take a power-hungry person that has this void that needs to be filled, and then when they are given that power, you see the worst version of them?
Ask your CIA boy. I bet he's got the answers. I bet he knows the exact formula. So many horrific accusations, involving young singers, like children.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's insane.
He makes R. Kelly look like a decent guy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy.
It is crazy. And meanwhile, the guy was like hanging out with Oprah, hanging out with Obama.
Jay-Z,
Everybody.
I'm sure the Clintons were there at some point.
Maybe Bill.
Joe Rogan just called out the biggest names in Hollywood and said they're going down with Diddy. Moments later, Diddy tried to flee court before his trial even started. This isn't a coincidence. This is a meltdown in real time. Joe Rogan is not holding back anymore. From his podcast mic, he's aiming straight at the heart of the industry and calling out the A-listers who stood by Diddy for years. Jennifer Lopez, Will Smith, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Stevie J. Cuba Gooding Jr. All of them. Rogan says they weren't just innocent bystanders, they were part of the machine. And now, the machine is burning down. The wildest part? Just hours after Rogan's episode dropped, Diddy snapped. In the middle of court, in front of everyone. He tried to run. Yup. Before jury selection could even begin, Diddy panicked. Witnesses say he stood up suddenly, muttering under his breath, and made a beeline for the courtroom doors. Security stopped him, but not before the whole room saw what desperation looks like. And Joe Rogan's prediction? It's happening now. Let's start with Jennifer Lopez. She dated Diddy at the height of his chaos. She was with him the night of that 1999 NYC club shooting. They fled together. A gun was tossed from their car. J-Lo walked away. Diddy got booked, but she defended him anyway, stood by him, said she'd testify if needed. Joe Rogan raised the question, why is she warning people about politicians, but never warned anyone about Diddy? It's a fair question, especially now that Shine, Diddy's former artist, revealed he took the fall for that shooting. He says Diddy let him rot in prison. And J-Lo? She kept dating Diddy for 2 more years. So what did she know? And why did she protect him? That's why Rogan says her hands aren't clean. She may have escaped the spotlight back then, but now the light is catching up to her. Will Smith's name came next. Joe didn't say Will was a mastermind, but he did question why Will's name keeps floating around Diddy's infamous freak-offs. Music industry insider Jaguar Wright even claimed Will and Diddy were involved in harming a man together, with Jaden and Justin Bieber reportedly present. Now, Will Smith has denied it, loudly. During a show, he stopped everything just to say, "I ain't been near no damn freak-off. Stop putting me in other people's shti." But here's the thing. Joe pointed out that Will's anger seemed more like panic. And interestingly, Will never denied his son Jaden's connection to Diddy. And Jaden? He was close to both Diddy and Bieber during the peak of all this mess. Rogan says it's not just about what you did. It's about what you saw, what you stayed silent about. And Will's silence on Jaden's involvement is making people ask, what's he hiding? Then came the biggest bomb, Jay-Z and Beyoncé. Joe Rogan didn't tiptoe around it. He said Jay-Z and Diddy have been tied together for decades. From business to branding to parties, we're talking nightclubs, liquor deals, clothing lines, the works. They moved as a unit. But now that Diddy's crumbling, Jay-Z is ghost. Jaguar Wright said something even crazier, that hundreds of people are ready to testify about both Jay-Z and Beyoncé, that they're not just witnesses, they're predators. When those allegations aired, Jay-Z's team swooped in. They had Piers Morgan edit the entire segment, then made him apologize, on air. Joe Rogan saw that and said, that's not damage control, that's fear. If Diddy starts talking, the Carter's world could explode. Let's talk about Cuba Gooding Jr. next. According to Lil Rod, Diddy's former producer, Diddy introduced him to Cuba on a yacht, but not as friends. Lil Rod says Diddy was serving him up to Cuba, like he was a plate of food. Rod said Cuba groped him, made multiple advances, and when he pushed him away, Cuba kept going. Lil Rod was shaking with rage. Cuba denies it, says he barely knows Diddy, claims he was only on the yacht for a minute. Joe Rogan said it best. Nobody accidentally ends up on Diddy's boat. If you're there for a reason. And now Cuba's name is in the storm. Now, let's get into Stevie J. Most people remember him from Love and Hip Hop. But before the drama TV fame, Stevie J was deep in Diddy's circle. He produced for Bad Boy, lived with Diddy, and was around for the wildest moments of Diddy's reign. He hasn't spoken up. He hasn't distanced himself. And Joe Rogan says that silence is deafening. If Diddy starts talking, and everyone expects he will, Stevie J could be one of the first names dropped. He was there. He saw it. And he's got a track record of shady behavior himself. Rogan said it straight. If you lived with Diddy, you know where the bodies are buried. Meanwhile, Diddy's empire is collapsing. Fast. Let's break it down. His homes? Raided. His private jets? Grounded. His assets? Frozen. His record label? Under investigation. His brand deals? All dropped him. C-Rock? Cut ties? Revolt TV? Stepped back? Artists? Quietly disappearing. He's bleeding out in real time. And trying to flee court proves one thing. He knows he's guilty. Joe Rogan wasn't surprised. He said this was inevitable, that the real surprise is how long it took. Now it's courtroom time. The feds are moving in, jury selection has officially started, and they're screening people like never before. Why? Because what's coming is graphic. The evidence is real. Video, photos, testimony, it's going to be brutal. Jurors are being asked if they've seen the Cassie footage, if they've lived through domestic violence, if they can handle disturbing content. This trial isn't about music. It's about crimes. And Diddy? He's running out of moves. Let's end it with the truth. Diddy's finished. Joe Rogan just dragged his entire circle into the light. And now that Diddy tried to escape, there's no doubt left. He's panicking, cracking, crumbling. J-Lo, Will Smith, Jay-Z, Beyoncé, Cuba, Stevie J. All of them were part of the orbit. And now, that orbit is crashing. The silence is over. The secrets are coming out. And when Diddy finally breaks, when he starts naming names to save himself, Hollywood will never be the same. This is bigger than a scandal. This is a reckoning. And Joe Rogan just lit the match.